page 92. Actually, it's going to be pages 92 through 94, whatever. It's a review of the 7th chord. I have to re-record this lesson because I lost the files, or part of the files. I don't know. One camera shut off and I didn't catch it, and I don't catch stuff like that because I'm old and I miss stuff. So that's my excuse, so leave me alone here. I don't know why I need a lesson on this, but it's in the book, so let's just make sure we sort of understand what's going on, because they're giving you various flavors of 7th chords there. Those whole notes going across the page in the upper half of the thing. Yeah. Let's just see what's happening here. As you know, if you take a regular triad, let's take a G triad, that's fine. Now we add another note to it. It's every other note, and it'll be every other note in the key, whatever you're in, usually. Doesn't have to be. That 7th can be here or here. This is jazzy sound. You get a lot of those in jazz. But a lot of times it's just the minor 7th in any key. So it's every other note in the key. Pick a key. Okay, how about E major? Here. And I'm going to take, I could do that, but I'm going to use the minor 7th. I'll get more into that later. It's a 7th chord. The 7th. You're talking about the interval between the bottom note in the chord when in root position and the top note in the chord. One of them is an interval of a 7th. Okay. Now let's go through this mess across these whole notes here. We have what's known as a C major 7th. That could be a D major 7th, E major 7th, whatever. But they're using C major 7th. And what it is a C chord with a major 7th. A major 7th is, well, to put it the easy way, it's the note in the key. So C major is no sharps or flats, so I use a B natural. This interval, you have major, minor intervals, and these other. Okay, this is a major 7th, and you can count the half steps up to how many half steps is a major 7th, and that too. But I just say you're just sticking. It's a half step below the tonic, is all it is. That's a major 7th. To me, that's easier. I just go a half step down from the tonic, and I've got it. A minor 7th is a whole step down. But the C major 7th, as it's written there, uses a major 7th. The next one over is a C7. They also call a dominant 7th. I'll come back to dominant. Don't know. A C7, and a C7 without the major is a minor 7th. So using a major with a minor. Use it a lot from going from one key to another, because if I'm in C major, I can introduce that B flat with a dominant 7th and go right into F major. It just harmonically flows. Okay, that is a C7. Now the dominant 7th, what's that about? We're going to get into dominance later. You're just going to love it. A dominant has to be a dominant of something. It doesn't stand by itself. A tonic has to be a tonic of something. You're referring to something, because any note could be a tonic or a dominant. In C major, the tonic is the C chord, it's the 1 chord. The dominant chord is the 5 chord here. Well, these notes, that is a dominant chord of something. Well, if it's of something, that means it is the dominant of something. It is the 5 of something. So go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's an F chord, F major. F major has a B flat. Therefore, we're using B flats because you're staying within the key. The dominant 7th. And in that way, we justify not using this, but this. It's a dominant 7th. So anytime you have a dominant 7th, you stay within the key of the tonic. Let's say I have a D. And this, I want a dominant 7th here. What is that? Because a regular 7th, the major 7th is here. Well, this is a dominant of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, G. G major is 1 sharp. So here, that means it's got to be a C natural because you only get 1 sharp. So the dominant seventh. You're staying within the key, but it's the key of whatever you're dominant of. Yeah? Okay. Go on. Minor seventh. Minor seventh is simply a minor chord with a minor seventh added. Minor triad, minor seventh. Yeah, that's all right. Half diminished seventh, and this is just wonderful. You gotta love these. Half diminished seventh. We'll get the full diminished. I like the full diminished seventh. I got videos on that. I'll come back to that. Half diminished seventh. We're doing this. This is a diminished chord. And we're simply adding the minor seventh to it. Because that's a major third. Half diminished seventh. Diminished triad, minor third, and a minor seventh. Okay. And then the full diminished, that's my favorite. They're all minor thirds. And this is where you get the double flats and all that stuff. Why can't they just put an A in there? Because you're using note names. We're using the C, E, G, and B, and we got to turn it into a full diminished seventh by adding the flats. So it's an E flat, G flat, and a B double flat because I need a minor third. Minor third, minor third, minor third. I have videos on all the arpeggios on these minor, because when I was in college, this is the arpeggio I had to start with when I started learning arpeggios, because it forces the fingers to spread apart. They're all minor thirds. The beauty of this is, first of all, we're not using music. We're concentrating on the piano. And secondly, there's only 3 of them, and 2 of the 3 are almost identical. So as far as the pattern, pretty easy. Because you have this pattern where you have these 2 keys, or these 2 keys, where you have black one, white one in between here. And if you do that, you hear, that's it. And this one, so 4 and 3 are playing those, and then the 1 and 2 are playing the others. So it's that. Here. And it's inversions. Well, those are other dominant seventh chords, but they're the same keys on the piano. And then you have this one, which is this way. So it's the same feeling. The physical feeling is the same. It's the same feeling. And then the other one is where you have this one. The black key in between the 3. Because we've used this and we've used these. So this is the only one left. And the 4th finger plays that one. And then I have videos on these with tremolo exercises and accents and just a whole lot of fun. But if you can get to where you can play those slowly, your technique will be so much more improved. Your control on the keys will be so much more. All right, fine. I'll stop with the advertisement. The full dominant seventh chords. And then they give you throughout the pages the notes and the different keys. And you can do that too if you want. Have fun, whatever. And then, of course, any of these seventh chords can be inverted. Let's see on top. Yeah. And they've used, 3.5 pages or so to explain all that to you. But that's basically what they're doing here on this.